Hey, y'all, want to get on and encourage y'all real quick. I'm about to name some stuff that y'all probably dealing with right now. You don't even know you're dealing with it because you have grown accustomed to pain. You done went through a divorce. You done went through a bad situation, and you really then went. Your body then went to a place of just got to keep going. So you're not really able to process anything. It's like you're still in a state of shock. And one of the things I guarantee you, if you look at your life right now, you have been desensitized. You're numb. Stuff probably been happening, or stuff happening, you don't probably even have no emotions. You probably can't sympathize with people, you probably can't sympathize with people because you numb. You didn't went through that divorce and you don't even feel nothing no more. It's hard for you to feel emotions. You know you sad, but it's hard for you to feel like sorry for other people, because a lot of you feel like, well, why? You might not say it, but it's like you're thinking like, well, ain't nobody felt sorry for me. When I went through what I went through, I had to get up and keep on going. A lot of y'all going through that right now. You've been desensitized. You're literally numb. You're numb to the pain. You feel it. I'm not saying you don't feel it, but you're numb because you still got to keep going. You haven't even been able to process it. You haven't even been able to grieve the divorce and just really process it, because after it happened, you had to keep going. You had to keep being a mom. You had to keep being an auntie or whatever. You had to keep going to work. You had to keep providing. You had to keep going, and you ain't even get to grieve because life didn't stop when you got a divorce. Now when things come, you can't even sympathize when people go through stuff because you're like, it's life. It's hard for you to even care when other people are going through things because you already felt like life has already been so hard for you. And you really have to go to God with that one, because being numb comes from always going through traumatic situations, or going through a traumatic situation like divorce that will cause you to stay stuck right there in your emotions. You don't know how to love. You don't know how to give love. You don't know how to receive it. You don't know how to be. You don't even know how to sympathize for somebody that's going through it. You're like, you're just gonna have to keep on going, whoever you are. You might not say it because you really might say something like acting like you care, but inside you really are like desensitized. You're really numb. A lot of y'all came out that marriage and you are numb. Like you're numb. You don't even know how to have, sympathy for nobody because you feel like nobody has sympathy for you. Some of y'all, that's gonna hurt you when it's time for you to love again, because you don't even want to let nobody in. For real. So y'all, you got to work on that. Like I remember one time somebody had told me something. No, I was doing something and this lady was crying, and she was like I was like on this call and she was like crying, and she was just like, you could tell she was breaking down and she was just crying. I was sitting there like, girl, come on. Say what you got to say and let's go. Because in my mind, I hadn't really processed the trauma that I went through. I hadn't really processed it. So in my mind, I'm looking at other people like, come on, what are you doing grieving and doing all that? Just get over it. And a lot of that stemmed from my time in the military, because it's like they do that to you. They make you feel like, well, whatever's going on, I don't care if it's something in your family, you just gonna have to be okay. I remember my first deployment to Afghanistan. My grandfather died the day I went to Afghanistan, and they would not let me go. They thought I was trying to get out of the deployment. And they wouldn't let, like, he died the day I deployed. Like, I hadn't even left yet, so I still had time. Well, they got the Red Cross message the day before, and they didn't let me go home. I don't know why, but they didn't, and he died the next day. We were supposed to leave the day before, but they ended up extending us for one day. So I didn't even get to grieve, and he was like one of my favoriteest people. He raised me. I didn't get to go to his funeral. I didn't even get to grieve his death, because as soon as he died, they shipped me to Afghanistan. I'm over there. I gotta be attentive. I can't be thinking about Papa gone. I remember getting off the flight and we saluting 9 bodies going back home. They died. They headed back home. I ain't have time to grieve my granddaddy. I literally had to get it together quick. I ain't have no time to grieve him. And I don't think I ever grieved the situation, ever. I really just had to go and keep going on with life. And some of y'all went through a divorce and you just had to keep going on with life. You haven't even grieved it. And it's okay to grieve. Excuse me. Long as you don't stay there. Nobody should put a time limit on how long it takes you to grieve after a divorce. It's like, a divorce is like the death of something. And a lot of times, a lot of y'all ain't gonna get back with that person. And it's like the death of something, and that person's still alive, and so are you. So if you got kids, you still got to deal with them. And you got to keep going. And some of y'all are numb. You're going, but you're numb. You're taking care of your kids, but you're numb. You're at work, but you're numb. They up there having meetings, and you depressed and stressed, and your mind always somewhere else. You numb. You don't even know how to feel no more. You done went through so much in your marriage, coming out that divorce, the way he treated you on the way out, the way he treated you in the marriage. You numb. You don't even believe that nobody will love you again. You numb to the fact that you can be loved again. You're numb to the fact that you can give it again. You're numb. You didn't even have time to grieve. You didn't even have time to get yourself together. You just had to put your big girl drawers on and just move forward. Because them kids still want a snack. Them kids they understand, but the kids only understand to a certain level when you go through a divorce. They still need what they need. They don't understand your emotions like that. So you still got to be a mother. You still got to go to work. Can you imagine? Some of y'all was doing meetings and your mind somewhere else, and you sitting in a meeting going through a divorce, and you like, what? So, go to God about that and take some time to think about it. Like, do you feel numb? Has it been hard for you to show love? Has it been hard for you to be a certain type of way since you got a divorce? Since you went through that breakup? Is it easy for you to show sympathy to other people? Or do you look at other people like, get it together, you gotta go. Come on, keep moving. Think about it. Love y'all.